Hey guys, welcome back, and today we are going to go over my initial steps in training of what I do with a young horse or an off-the-track thoroughbred. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this guy over to the cross ties. Most track horses haven't witnessed cross ties. They either get ready in the aisleway or in their stall or in a groom bay. So we're going to take him over to the cross ties and get him all groomed up and booted up and ready to go. So one of the first things I start with the young horses is teaching them to put their nose in the halter, because I don't like to reach up really high, especially on a bigger horse. So sometimes I'll do that with food incentive or pull pressure, but that's one of the first things I do with them. So another thing I work with the young horses is frequently when I get one off the track, as soon as you open the gate, they're in a big hurry to get out. So I'll normally take a second when I first open the gate to stand them here and walk forward a step, maybe back them up another step, just so they're not in a hurry to get out. I mean, it only takes a couple seconds to start reiterating the right manners on the ground versus just ignoring it and letting them get away with it. You'll end up with a very pushy horse. Good boy. I always recommend when having a young horse in the cross ties for the first time to either have a quick release cross tie itself where it's Velcro, or even a plastic connection here so that it will break and give. I think they sell them on Smart Pack or State Line for a couple bucks. Or a leather halter, so if anything does go wrong, they can break away and they're not trapped. No. So you'll probably see him fidget a lot. That's pretty standard, especially for ones right off the track. I try not to make a big deal out of it and just let him walk around in the cross ties. I never get too upset. If you are emotional towards them, they're gonna get a little reactive towards you. So I normally just let them kind of figure it out. Sooner or later they realize it's a lot easier to just stand there, but part of having a young horse is having a young brain, so. So another thing with track horses, most of them have only been worked with off the left. So you'll notice when you go to pick their feet, if you're on the right side, they don't always pick their feet up. So they'll give you the left from this side, and most of the time, when you grab this foot, they'll give you it from the same side. So that's just something to kind of know and be aware of. If they're not picking up the right feet, it's probably going to take them a little while to adjust to being on both sides of them. Easy Nugget. Practice on this side now. Good boy. Good boy. Don't be surprised if when you put back boots on your thoroughbred, or even front boots, they walk a little funny at first. They probably never had boots on before. So sometimes it takes a little while to get used to them. So normally I'll just start with front boots and then I'll add back boots on in a couple of weeks. So this is Sebastian. He is currently 2 years old. He is a 2017 horse, meaning he will be turning 3 in March. I got him from Arizona. And he only raced 3 times as a 2-year-old. Makes me kind of sad. But he retired sound. He was too slow. He didn't have his heart in racing. As you can tell, he still is very 2, and that's okay. But he's very smart, very willing. He most likely will be for sale. I don't think he's going to be one for me to keep, just because I have too many horses already. But he's super smart, super sweet. He's very athletic. He's got a great build to him. I think he's going to make someone a really nice little horse. So let's start working. So one of the first things I do with them, most of them don't have any idea how to lunge, have no idea what leg pressure is or what body presence is. I'll start them either on a longer lead rope like this or on a lunge line in about a 10-meter circle, just getting them to move off the pressure. So when I spin the rope and cluck or kiss, they need to be walking around me. Very straightforward. For some of it, it's a lot harder than others, but I just want him walking in a circle. If I had a lunge line, then I would maybe do a little bit of trot work. And this is where I introduce a hoe and a whistle. So the whistle for me is a reward. So as you can tell, he already is kind of a backwards thinking guy. But this is when I would ask him for a hoe. So, and I'll turn my shoulder and turn his nose towards me. And that's the first thing I do with them so that they learn that ho or the whistle means to stop. Normally, when you go to the right, it's a lot harder than the left because track horses only race to the left. So I've done this a little bit with Sebastian, so he kind of knows what to do already, but you just want to make sure you're really staying at the haunch. And then again, when he walks and I feel like he's doing a good job licking and chewing and moving away nicely, then I'll and turn my back. So the other thing I like to start them with is backing up. I don't have his halter on now, so hopefully he'll do it for me. But normally I'll put a little pressure at the chest, like that, and a little cluck, and they'll start moving away. And I feel like those are the basic things you need to have before you just let them loose in a round pen. Because if they don't know how to respect your space, you can't expect them to have any idea what you're doing in the center of a round pen. Another thing with my young horses, I've never found a use to need a whip. Sometimes I'll use a whip that doesn't have the actual rope segment on it as an extension of my arm, but most of the time I just use a rope or my voice. It's just a personal preference. So most likely the first time you put a racehorse in the round pen, they're going to want to go forward, and that's okay. I let them go forward. And as soon as they want to pay attention, then we'll do the work that I have planned for the day. But as long as he's thinking forward and thinking about what's outside the ring, he's not going to be focused on me. So I'm just going to let him canter around. I'm actually going to help him out, even swing my little rope a little bit. And after a while of cantering, he's not want to keep cantering. He's going to be like, you know what, she's still making me canter. Why is she still making me canter? Another thing is a lot of these track horses have never had to work on a circle, so their balance is not always the best at first. You'll see a lot of cross cantering, a lot of wrong leads, a lot of awkward gait, and that's okay. That's them figuring out their balance, building their strength, and learning how to work on a circle. So then sometimes I'll put the whistle to the test. Oh. And if he doesn't come in, I'll give him a second. If he doesn't come in, that's okay. We'll just go back to work. And since he didn't want to give me 2 eyes and come in, then we'll start working a little bit on turns. Whenever he turns, he has to turn 2 eyes to the inside. He cannot face his butt to me. So I'll make sure he's in a trot. It's always a good place to start, having them turn back towards the gate. So when he comes around here, I'll turn this way. I always use my finger to point. And if he's good like that, I'll take the pressure off. I lower my hands, lower my body language, and let him walk as a reward. I want him to keep walking though, but just enough pressure to where he understands where we're going. I don't need him running. And then I'll try to have him turn the other way. I'll ask him for one more turn. Good. And then when he seems like he's starting to think a little more, I'll ask him for the whistle and turn it. Oh. Good boy. That was a little close. Good. And that's pretty much where we start. So a lot of people call this join up. Or for a horse to hook on, and basically it's just establishing the alpha. So, you know, when I walk around, he should be following me and have good manners. It's a good place to start so you can get on the same page with your horse. Another thing I'll do is basic desensitization. I do desensitize to whips, even though I don't use them, but all my horses are used to me throwing things over them and under them and around their legs and all this kind of stuff. It just makes it easier for the horses to not be as spooky when something unexpected happens. The next step I would also do in the round pen is introducing voice commands. So if I'm ever doing an increase in gait, so trot or canter, I'll always make a sharp increase in my voice, so trot or canter. And if I'm coming down in gait, I'll make it a lower interval. So trot and walk. And that's pretty much where I start with all of them. Once I have that down pat, then I'll kind of move on to more under saddle work. Since he's so young, we're going to be doing a lot of this to start until he's really, really good at it. And this is also the intro to Liberty. So since he's so young, we're going to be doing a lot of that until he gets a really good idea of it. But also because he's so young, we want to keep it really fun for him and really light. So I don't do a whole lot of work. He is 2 years old. We normally do this maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and he does a lot of turnout. Normally, he's got an itch. Normally, I'll do this before I turn him out, just so he's a little bit more tired and not thinking, run, 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 open space. But that's pretty much all I'll do with him today, and we'll go and he's got an itch. Go and give him a nice groom, and he'll go back, and that's it. Good boy. Good patient boy.